All right, what is up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. We're here on a Thursday, November 8th, 9-game slate. Lots of very appealing spots for GPPs, so I'm excited to play. Steve, how you doing on this Thursday afternoon?
Doing great. Yeah, looking forward to the slate. 9 games, perfect amount. Anywhere in that five to nine is pretty good for me. So yeah, really liking it.
Yeah, me too. So I guess we'll just start out normally how we do. We'll talk through more ownership stuff as we get going, but this looks like a Tampa 1 spot. Again, they're pretty fairly priced. Thought it'd be a nice spot for Dallas, but they're not going to get too much ownership now with Sagan and Ben split up. Maybe Boston 1. I'm sure they're going to have ownership as well, but they're super expensive.
Yeah.
So it was really just Boston 1 and Tampa 1 that stuck out to me. I don't know how to get a read on ownership for the Edmonton-Florida game. So what do you think about all that? Do you see anything that sticks out to you for ownership?
I think mainly Boston and Tampa should be the front runners there. Yeah, as far as what teams have done lately based on the betting lines and all that, they definitely stand out. I think the Edmonton-Florida game will be popular. Maybe the Vegas-Ottawa game could have some ownership.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Vegas, Ottawa. I don't know exactly what to do with that game. My numbers, at first, they like Ottawa for full stacks, especially with Kachuk back. So it's kind of worrisome. I know I didn't end up with as much Ottawa as I would have liked to the other night.
Yeah.
And Shabbat, we talked about him, but I did have a good amount of Shabbat actually, so that was fine. But as far as full stacks go, nothing really hit for my Ottawa stacks. How'd you end up last night? I guess we should talk about that a little bit.
Last night was pretty good. I was doing really well until that Hartman empty netter kind of hurt me because I had some Benino Sissons 2-man stacks, stuff like that, and also any full stack I had with them had Colorado 1 or Calgary 1, guys that just didn't go off. So it was a pretty good night. It could have been better.
Yeah, I was sitting pretty well after the first game, but no Sissons for me. So I was buried pretty early after those two first period goals, I think they were, and then he finished off the hat trick. I found out when I woke up. So good thing I did not stay up for those games.
It was really funny to see. Like if you look at his game log, he only scores against Colorado.
Yeah, what is that?
He has so many goals against Colorado. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
I didn't really know that going in. I only had him because of MME, so I wasn't sharp and on that play, I would say. But fortunate enough to have him in some lineups.
Yeah. Man, that hat trick from a third liner, if you got that, you're usually in a good spot, even on a 3-game slate. So
yeah, for sure.
Congrats to you for having some Colton Sissons, because I was not in on that.
I wouldn't have guessed. Yeah.
All right, I'm just tweeting this out and tagging you because I forgot to include you in the bio.
Oh, no worries.
There we go. All right. So 9 games, let's get into it. We've got about 50 minutes, so we got to get out of the way for NBA. Actually, no, I don't think there's a show after us.
No?
Let me double check that. But now that I think NBA has a late lock tonight. So if anybody's in chat, let me know. Otherwise, I can check the schedule. I think it's a 8 Eastern lock, 7 p.m. my time. Yep, late lock. So there's no show after us, so we can go a little past 5 Eastern if we need to finish up everything. Let's start with one chalk spot of the night. We've got the Vancouver Canucks going up against the Boston Bruins. Osmo is really liking the Boston top line. Hard not to here. They're going to see probably the Pettersson line for Vancouver. Even if it's the Horvat line, it doesn't really matter. It's Boston 1. They're at home against a team that's going to give up some chances at the very least. So what do you do here with Boston 1 if you have limited lineups, let's say? Because MME, I mean, you have to include them, but limited lineups, what would you do here with them?
I'm still playing them. I think it's a good spot. This could be a pretty dull matchup at 5-on-5, though. If you look at the numbers for both teams, not really generating or giving up a ton of shot attempts. So I actually think the power plays on both sides are pretty good spots here. Both teams are taking a lot of penalties, and they actually have the ref that's calling the most penalties in the league through the first month or so of the season. So there's a good chance we see some special teams action here. So you can maybe you can replace one of the Bruins wingers, maybe like a Marchand. You could replace him with a DeBrusque or something like that in your stacks and bring down the overall cost.
Save some money.
Just to be a little different as well. If you're going to go, if you want to use maybe a bit more of a more expensive line to pair with them. Otherwise, you're pretty much left to really cheap lines and trying to find some value. And I think that a lot of people will be on the same plays if you do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. When there's a line that's so expensive like this, like there's going to be options, but you're going to like your lineup has a good chance of being duped if you're running full even strength stacks with a line this expensive. So that's the only thing I would caution against. I like what you said about DeBrusque. I think he's a solid fill-in if you want to leave off Marchand. Would he be the guy you'd want to leave off? I mean,
yeah, I think so. Just because at home, like Pasternak's just shooting so much. Bergeron's such a big part of that power play, playing that bumper role there. I think I'd rather leave off Marchand.
I think I would agree there too. So you mentioned the Vancouver power play stack. That's not really something I was looking at, but looking how the lineups stack up here, I mean, you could go with Elias Pettersson, of course, scores every single game. He's at even strength with Louis Eriksson, who is come back to life a little bit, and then Bo Horvat would be probably the third forward I would want, and then you probably finish it off with Derek Pouliot if you're going with the top power play. Is that what you're looking at for Vancouver?
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
Okay. And then defenseman here, just mentioned Pouliot, but Torrey Krug is probably your top target.
Mm-hmm.
And then
another guy that's been pretty active is Hutton, Ben Hutton there. So for a pretty cheap, for a pretty cheap price tag, he's got a really good floor. A lot of shots and blocks. Yeah,
I like it. And then the goalies here, didn't mention them off the top, but Jacob Markstrom going up against Yaroslav Halak. Halak, an A value along with an A points grade, which is interesting here. I don't really like that, especially that you mentioned that Boston's committing a ton of penalties, so their chances could be on the power play. Probably not going to give up a ton of shots at even strength to this Vancouver team. So I'm going to try to steer clear from Halak. Do you like him or Markstrom here?
He's a pretty good cash play, I think. And I was just trying to see what his salary is on FanDuel, but I imagine he's pretty reasonable there.
Let's see. Yeah, 82 on FanDuel as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. So strong cash play on FanDuel.
Good.
Yeah.
Good win equity.
Yeah.
At the very least. Yep. All right, let's move it on to the next game. We've got the Edmonton Oilers going up against the Florida Panthers. Cam Talbot going up against Roberto Luongo. This is the one where I'm a little bit confused as far as ownership goes. I mean, McDavid's McDavid. He's going to have ownership. I don't know which of these two Florida lines is going to get the most attention. Maybe it's going to be split like we've seen a bunch of times this year. But honestly, I can't remember a slate that Florida's been on for like 3 weeks, it seems like, because they were in Finland there for a while.
Yeah.
And then they had a couple day games on Saturdays and just weird times. So it feels like I'm playing Florida for like the second time this season. But what are you doing with this game overall?
Yeah, that's it exactly. I haven't really had to analyze them too much this year. But, yeah, I don't know. I think, well, it's pretty clear that Barkov's going to go up against McDavid. I think I would rather play the second line, I think, is you probably get a little bit more, or a little bit less ownership. I think the top line is going to be more popular just because Hoffman's been on a bit of a tear.
Yep.
So I think, yeah. And then I think the second line is probably a bit cheaper.
Yeah, with Vetrano in there slotting in next to Trocheck and Huberdeau. So that was the line I kind of like as a value. And then I was looking at McDavid's numbers with Nugent Hopkins and Ratty, and they're actually not terrible defensively as far as limiting chances. So just in my mind, I had them as someone I wanted to target at even strength, but it makes sense. I mean, a lot of people are more concerned with slowing down McDavid than dominating offensively. So I think I prefer the second line here as well.
Yeah, I think the Barkov line's going to be, I think that whole matchup, that Barkov versus McDavid, we'll see a lot of chances both ways. But I kind of like McDavid there on that side of that matchup.
Yeah, I think I do prefer McDavid. Do you have Ratty on the second power play? I didn't see that this morning.
I would think so. I'm just going to take a quick look.
I mean, just boost him up a little bit. He's cheap enough, and he's with McDavid and Nugent Hopkins, so it's not like you can't play him anyways. But
yeah, it looks like it according to Daily Faceoff, but I don't have the actual source here.
Okay, cool. And then how are we four-man stacking? Is it going to be Clefbaum for Edmonton? You got a few options on the Florida side. So what do you think about defensemen all around here?
Yeah, it's hard not to like Yandel. I think what's his price tag at? He's probably got up a little expensive now, though, right? Yeah, that's pretty expensive for what he does. But I think the thing with the Oilers is their penalty kills their weak spot. They're not so bad at 5-on-5. So, yeah, Yandel GPP only as part of a stack. If it's going to be expensive to have 3 forwards with him, but maybe if you find some more value somewhere else, then it'd be worth it. Yep. But otherwise, he's too expensive to be a cash play, even though the spot's really good.
Yeah. I like Ekblad for 4K. I know he hasn't been the same, but just if you're getting down to that second line, he still does get power play time with Vetrano. So there is some correlation there at the man advantage. Luongo, Talbot here. I like Luongo, I think, a little bit in tournaments. I think he's a solid value. And then Talbot's just kind of a whatever play. If he fits and I'm correlating with Edmonton 1, he'll end up in some of my lineups, but not a guy I'm heavily targeting.
Yeah, I like that call.
All right. Anything else to mention in this game? Edmonton, depth lines, anything below the second for Florida?
I think you can play the top 2 lines on both teams. I think the 2 forward lines are pretty close, and the McDavid line is pretty clearly the best option there for Edmonton, with the second line being a distant 4th option of those 4 lines. But this game could have a lot of action.
All right. Arizona and Philadelphia, we have Darcy Kemper going up against Calvin Pickard. This is one where I just haven't paid too much attention to this game, and maybe I should be. Arizona looks a little bit improved. We've got Lawson Krause back on the top line for whatever reason for the Coyotes. Philadelphia's rolling out Couturier with Giroux and Konechny, as we've seen the last couple games. Patrick Voracek, Lindblom on that second line. I think it's pretty much going to be all Philadelphia for me if I get to this game at all. But maybe I'm missing something. So what do you have on this game?
Well, Philly, I guess the last game both teams just played on 3 days ago was Philly scored 5 goals, and it was all the Giroux line there. So pretty good matchup. Yeah, I think it's just a pretty good spot for them. Arizona's been a little bit overachieving defensively so far this year. Their 5-on-5 goals against per game is 1.84, but their expected goals against is around 2.5. So pretty good spot for the Philly offense at even strength if they get a good matchup there. I think the step-on line is probably the best possession line for Arizona as far as defensively, but every other matchup's pretty good. So it depends what Philly wants to do. If they match them up with the Galchenyuk Keller line, it's a really good matchup for them. So I like that.
Yeah, that's kind of my read. Although Philadelphia, in a couple games they've really hard matched. Like we've seen 13 minutes at even strength for the Couturier line against opposing top competition, and then other games it's like 4 and 5 just spread out throughout the 4 lines. So I mean, I'd love to see Couturier go up against Galchenyuk, Keller, Krause. I think that would be a really awesome spot. We just don't really know. I still do lean towards the top line, though. And I think they might go somewhat overlooked. It's a decent total, and they just had success. But with Tampa 1 and Boston 1 on this slate, this is a nice line to save a few dollars on DraftKings especially.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So that line's pretty good. And then if you want to do anything with Arizona, I like the step-on line.
Step-on.
Prefer them.
Super cheap.
The Philly depth lines aren't great. Specifically the Voracek line there didn't look great defensively, and I think that's the likely matchup if they do it.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah, kind of liking that there.
Okay. I think, yeah, they're super cheap. Nice filler line if you are going to a Boston one or Tampa one.
Yeah.
But just would try to get away from, like, that's going to be one of the lines that people have, I think, with those two.
Philly
styles.
or Arizona?
The Arizona line, the Stepan
Oh,
line.
okay, yeah.
Just because they're so cheap.
Yeah.
All right. Looking at the blue line here, I don't know. I mean, I would just correlate Gostisbehere with the top line if you are going to them for Philadelphia, and then Ekman Larson with either of the two top lines, pretty much. So that's really all I have. What about you?
Yeah, I like that. Philly's got one of the worst penalty kills in the league, so Ekman Larson stands out pretty good there. And I think Goligoski is a game-time decision, or he might even miss this one. So maybe you could bump down to Osterley, who I expect to get his power play 2 time, or at least more usage in general.
Sure.
I think he's already on power play 2.
Yep, 3,500 on power play 2, and if no Goligoski, that
so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Sandheim is coming up as an A value on Osmo's grades. Do we go there for a punt? He's under 3K again, but I don't think he saw a minutes boost in his last game. He just shoots. So he's kind of one that I need to take down, but it's good to see that Alex also has him graded highly.
Yeah, he's okay. I think he probably will perform better at home when he can be sheltered in his matchups.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And if you were ever going to go to any of the Philly depth lines, then I would correlate with him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, probably don't need to spend too much time on Sandheim anyways, on a 9-game slate.
Nah.
All right. Buffalo and... Oh, wait. Goalies here. Pickard, Kemper. Do you have any strong takes?
Not really. Pickard did have a really good performance against them the last game. And he's only 7,900 at home. So it's looking like a decent spot to go back with them. Arizona's shooting the puck a lot, but just not scoring a lot of goals.
Okay. Yep.
So I don't mind using them.
All right, let's move it on then. Buffalo and Montreal. Linus Ullmark going up against Carey Price. 2.6 implied total for the Sabres. 2.9 for the Canadiens. For this one, I think we know what we're going to see for line matching. We're going to see Danault go up against Eichel, Skinner, Pominville. Both lines have been really awesome at even strength. So I don't really know what else to do besides kind of cancel those two out. I don't see myself having much of anything from this game. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I wonder about the popularity of either line. I know Montreal, no one wants to play Montreal ever, but despite their numbers, I think the play is probably the Montreal 2 or 3.
Those lines have gone under some construction, it looks like. Domi with Drouin, which is good, and then Shaw up there.
Yeah, Shaw's not great. I think that third line's a little sneaky if you have a really expensive line that you want to pair with them. They're not too bad. Augustino's pretty good offensive player, skilled, and they're going to see the depth of Buffalo, which I think is their weakness.
Okay. Yeah, that line, just doing some quick math here, let's see, 78, 10-3 on DraftKings for a line that you kind of like. That'd be pretty interesting. So maybe I should write them down. I'll include them in my stack, in my
looks like Osmo has them as an A value as well on both sides.
Ooh, there you go.
So that helps. It's always nice to see the boss back it up.
Yeah, no kidding. Could definitely be worse than that. So are you just looking to fade Buffalo 1 year? They've been really good, but
they've been the best line since they've been assembled. They've scored the most goals in the league since they were assembled. Really strong numbers to back it up too. But I think you can avoid at Montreal. I think they're going to be kind of popular just because of their output so far.
Okay. Yeah, I mean they're pretty expensive too. So I think they may be close to as expensive or more expensive than Tampa 1. Is that right? Just eyeballing the prices here.
Yes, they're 800 more.
Yeah. All right. So we've got Ristolainen as the top target for Buffalo, and then probably Petrie for Montreal against the power play 1 time. I'm seeing that Tatar and Gallagher are both on power play 1 together. That's kind of what they've
been doing most of the year. But we saw before last game, it looked like they weren't going to be on the same power play. They were split. So
Yeah, I think
I would expect them to play together. Yeah.
Yep. And then you got any punts here or either goalie or just looking to
I think Allmark's somewhat interesting for GPPs there at only 7K. He's the kind of guy that can stand on his head when he faces a lot of volume.
Okay. 7K, it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah, price isn't too bad.
Yeah.
I don't mind him at 7.8, but I just don't love it.
Has he looked better? I don't know if you've caught any Canadiens games.
Nah, unfortunately I haven't watched, but his goals against over his last 4 games, 5 goals against, 4, 3.
Fraud price.
He hasn't he hasn't been great, so if he was the cheaper one, then sure, but at that price I'm not super interested.
Yeah, kind of more paying for the name there than anything. It's not like they're massive favorites or anything here.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to the next game, promo code Hit the Ice. I'll mention it. Been talking about this for like 2 weeks, but sign up. You get a free week at Awesemo. You get Fantasy Cruncher, the lineup builder that you see on the screen, Awesemo's rankings that we've referenced a couple times. He's got not only the player rankings, but also the stack rankings. He ranks each line, gives them a points and value grade as well. So nice little wrinkle there outside of the individual rankings. You get access to the premium Slack chat as well for a week. So come join, give us a like if you enjoy the show. Let's move it on to the next game. Vegas and Ottawa. We've got the Golden Knights with a 3 implied total. Ottawa with 2.5. Brady Tkachuk returns for the Senators. We're likely going to see Tierney going up against the Carlson, Marchessault Smith line for the most part, and then Duchesne against Vegas too. At least that's what they did last time against New Jersey when they went nuts. So I would expect they stick to the same thing here. We going back to Ottawa here, Steve?
No, I mean, Vegas has been underachieving so far. They're just getting bad luck when it comes to shooting percentage and really bad luck with goaltending as well. But they're really not giving up much at 5-1-5. If you look at the numbers, Ottawa's projected for the fewest shot attempts on the entire slate. So from a projection standpoint, I don't love Ottawa at all. And there's no reason to think that Vegas is going to be tired or fall apart like New Jersey did after that first period.
Yep.
So kind of off them. It looks like we have Eakin between Pacioretty and Tuck there. Yeah. I assume they're decent enough defensively, and I think the Duchesne line's likely to see second and third lines against Vegas. And I don't think either of those 2 lines are particularly bad defensively.
Right, I agree. I mean, the line that I was sort of looking at with Tkachuk back was that second line, but seeing that they're going to see at least some time against Carlson, Marchessault Smith, I don't really want any part of that line at even strength. So, yeah, I think I'm with you. I'm kind of off Ottawa here, outside of maybe Shabbat, if you just need a 5% owned guy that's been really, really awesome. Not a great value. But
he's still 4,700 on FanDuel.
Yeah.
So you can jam him in there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
This guy, just running my numbers from this year, he is like basically Brent Burns so far this season in terms of minutes, block shots.
But he's scoring.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting goals too. It's pretty crazy.
He has 20 points. 20 points.
That's got to be amongst the league lead for defensemen, right?
I think amongst the league lead for players, period.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been incredible. So the 6,500, while it's expensive for a guy that, not a big name yet, at least, kind of worth it. Once again.
He's 6th in the NHL. Oh no, he's tied for 4th in the NHL in scoring.
Thomas Shabbat, yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. So Vegas 1 seems a little bit underpriced here.
Yeah.
They're gonna get a healthy amount of minutes, maybe near 20. Power play time. It looks like Carlson's on the second unit. I don't know when that switched, but I'm just seeing that now for the first time. They have Pacioretty with Tuck. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, Tuck's always up there, but really like that top Vegas line. What about you?
Love them. Yeah, they're probably my favorite. This is my favorite spot of the night.
Ooh, again.
I think they're anyone at Ottawa, man. It started out good for New Jersey, and then they got gassed and they just fell off. Yeah. But I think Vegas is the kind of team that they've been generating a lot on offense. They have really, really strong peripheral stats or underlying numbers, I should say. And they've just been unlucky so far. And the breakout's coming pretty soon, so might as well be against the worst defensive team in the league.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So underpriced, too. Do you have I mean, this got to be a top 5 owned stack of the night, right?
I wonder, though. Yeah, they'll have some ownership. The higher stakes you go, they'll be owned, for sure. Mm. But just based on the results, they might not be in lower stakes. They'll probably be under-owned. Yeah. The top line is a full 3-man unit, and then Pacioretty, Tuch, mini stacks. Pacioretty, Tuch, Theodore would be a great one.
Love it.
I think.
Yeah, I love
something
Tuch.
Like that.
Yeah, I love Tuch. And then Pacioretty at 44, $10K for those two guys. You add in Theodore for 15K on DraftKings. Pretty nice. I'm looking to see, I can't remember if we looked this up the other day, but Ottawa's about middle of the pack in terms of time shorthanded. So, but their penalty kill is at a 70% clip this year. That's amongst the worst in the league. So, power play, top line, Tuch, Pacioretty, minis. I think we got it all covered there. So, we're both very much on Vegas here.
Yeah, so the Vegas has just been pretty unlucky. Their power play has been pretty bad. They have sorry, let me look. Yeah, they have the worst power play in the league. So that's worst power play against one of the worst penalty kills. So something's got to give there.
I mean, they shouldn't be the worst power play, right? Nothing's really changed.
No, their underlying numbers aren't super strong, but they're not bad either. They're not as bad as they've been doing. And Ottawa's underlying numbers on the penalty kill are terrible. They're by far giving up the most unblocked shot attempts on the penalty kill, and among the leaders in expected goals against. So just overall, Ottawa's not really good defensively, and Vegas is due kind of deal.
All right, time to fire up those Golden Knights. Yeah, they were 11th last year in terms of success rate on the power play, 21.4%. So really solid. They shouldn't be last in the league. So some regression coming there.
It's interesting what they did with their power play, though. They have 4 complete shooters there, and they took off their playmaker in Carlson.
Yeah, that is weird.
Pacioretty, Tuch, Marchessault, and Theodore, all shooters.
Well,
so I wonder how that's going to work.
We'll be getting shots at least.
Hopefully. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, given my Vegas exposure, if their bad luck continues, I want to have exposure to Craig Anderson as well.
Yeah.
At 7,900. I think, I want both sides of this coin.
He's going to see a million shots here. At least we expect
He should.
So,
yeah.
When Ottawa wins games, and they certainly can win games, it's the NHL. It's not like Vegas has been unbeatable by any stretch this year. So, if he gets the win here, he's going to put up a big score on both sides. So, I like that call. You mentioned Theodore. Colin Miller's a guy that I'll go to a little bit. The problem is that he doesn't get the power play one time, but he is 4K, and he does shoot it quite a bit, and on the top pairing, or I guess a top 4 defenseman.
Yeah, he's seeing over 20 minutes a night, so that's good.
Yep.
For his price.
All right, we ready to move on here?
Sure.
Another chalk spot. New York Islanders going up against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We've got Robin Leonard likely going up against Vasilevsky. I don't know why they haven't announced a starter yet. It's possible they have a back-to-back tomorrow. I haven't checked for Tampa. But Vasilevsky, Domingue, whoever it is. Tampa 1 is the talking point here. Tampa 2, probably the game theory play, I guess. But they are just ultra expensive, even though they've been awesome. First of all, I guess you want to get the Islanders out of the way. Do you have any interest on that side? And then Tampa 1, Tampa 2, what are you doing there?
Not really. Islanders are totally overachieving in every regard. They're underlying, they're going to regress pretty soon. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of when, and it's going to be for an extended period, most likely. But I don't know how they're getting it done. They just seem to be they're shooting at the highest 5-on-5 shooting percentage in the league, compared to one of the fewest shot attempts for. So it's pretty ridiculous how they're scoring goals, which makes me not like Vasilevsky or whoever the Tampa goalie is. I don't like him at all. That's easily a hard pass for me. I don't really like anyone on the Islanders here.
Yep, I'm right there with you. So just wanted to see if you had any spicy takes there.
What? Well, just it's the same take as the last Islanders game. Cheap defenseman for them. Good shot block opportunities. So
Hickey, 29.
Yeah. He's up a little bit more, but I don't mind it. 4 block shots the last couple games. They're going to see volume. Tampa should pepper them with shots.
I like it. Yeah. All right, and then the Tampa side, Miller, Stamkos, Kucherov coming off a huge game. Well, for Stamkos and Kucherov, Miller got in, I think, at the end.
Yeah.
But
luckily,
this is probably going to be the highest owned spot of the night. I mean, there are other spots that are similar, so it's not like they're going to be 30% or anything. Maybe in high stakes, but in like the $8 on DraftKings, I don't think they're going to be all that chalky. So how much do you like the Tampa 1s, and then will you have any of the super expensive Tampa 2s?
Just in multi-entry for Tampa 2. Tampa 1 obviously stands out. Both lines have very similar offensive numbers at 5-on-5, so I like that. And then actually from the expected goals perspective, the point line is actually a little bit better. The Stamkos, Kucherov, Miller line's been slightly overachieving there, but not in a bad way. But yeah, just from a value perspective, I think that Stamkos, Kucherov line's pretty good. I think they will be popular, so yeah, you can make your own decisions up from a game theory perspective. I'll have exposure to them though.
Yep.
In this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, no way to really get around it. It seems like Tampa 1's been in a good spot for like their last 6 games. And they finally broke out, so people are going to want to go back to them. They just made a bunch of people a lot of money. So it's understandable. I don't think it's chasing points here with Tampa 1 at all. It's a really awesome matchup. You look at the numbers for the Nelson line and the Barzal line. They're both giving up 60 shot attempts against per 60. Bunch of scoring chances, a ton of high danger chances. So everything adds up to Tampa just being able to dominate at even strength. It's a good power play matchup as well for an elite power play that the Lightning have.
Yeah.
McDonough has to be one of the higher owned defensemen as well. You're going to be able to fit him in somewhat easily for under 6K. So he's really the only guy I'm targeting for Tampa. But are you looking at any of these cheaper guys like Coburn, Girardi, Stralman, Sergachev?
Maybe just fillers if you need a cheap guy to fit the stack. I think, but even then, they're not super cheap. Yeah. I'd like them guys like Kukuk or however you say it. I'd like him better if he was. Yeah, I'd like him better if he was below 3K.
Last 3 games, 12, 13, 14 minutes.
Yeah, not much. Yeah, so he's at 3,600, too much for me there. Coburn has no offensive upside.
Yep.
And I don't think there shouldn't be facing enough shots for him to get any blocks there. So Stralman, not terrible given the minutes he's playing, and maybe he locks into a couple assists. But yeah, not really into any of those other defensemen. Yeah,
I've never had much success playing Anton Stralman.
Maybe you could do Sergachev with the Tampa 2 if you're playing that, just for correlation, bring the cost down. But
yeah. I think another way to bring the cost down is just playing Alex Killorn for the power play one time. Probably want to leave Stamkos and Kucherov in your stack, but if you can't afford the extra, if you can't afford the extra 1,000 to get up to Miller, Killorn will play with those guys on the power play, and 3,700. So don't mind that at all. We talked about goalies. We can probably move on from this one.
Yeah, sure.
Carolina and Chicago, we have Scott Darling going up against Corey Crawford. 3 implied total for the Hurricanes, 2.9 for the Blackhawks. This one, we've got a new coach for the Hawks. I can't even remember his name, but they fired Joe Quenneville.
Politan or something?
Yeah.
Was that sound right?
It looked like Coalition to me. I
glanced over it, yeah. I didn't really.
Jake's boy Dougie. Oh, yeah, we'll get to Dougie here in a second. But, so I guess with a new coach, I don't know how line matching is going to go here. I mean, you can look at what they did last year, but who knows? I don't really know anything about this new coach. So right now, I'm expecting the top 6 to just see time against each other. And until I see otherwise, we're not really going to know. Carolina puts up 1,000,000 shot attempts every game and scores 1 goal, it seems like.
Yep.
In these good spots, it's another good spot against the Blackhawks. Crawford in net hurts a little bit, but really like Carolina 1 here. What's your favorite part of this game?
I love the entire game. I think both top 2 lines are amazing. This game should be a heavy target. It should be played at the highest pace as far as shot attempts go at 5-on-5. Both teams have bad penalty kills, so it's just should be a pretty wide open, high event game. So I love both sides. Obviously, Carolina is my preferred option here. The second line has fantastic numbers and are cheap for Carolina, but they just don't seem to score all that much. So that kind of hurts. Maybe they're lacking some offensive talent that the top line has.
Right.
So I think the top line is probably your better bet for a multi-goal game, but just for straight value and using a line, I think Carolina 2 is pretty appealing there. And I'll have a ton of Corey Crawford, very similar to my Vegas situation there. If Carolina continues to pepper them with shots and it just can't find the back of the net, then Crawford should have an amazing game.
Yep, I pretty much agree with everything you just said there. So I'll be pretty much done talking about this game, at least the Carolina side.
Yeah.
So you like the second line for the Blackhawks as well? I mean, Kane's on there with Anisimov and Schmaltz. They're pretty cheap. The one thing I was worried about, and that was more when I thought there was going to be a hard match, but is them seeing time against the Stahl line, because even though they haven't been like finishing offensively, their numbers are incredible as far as shot suppression goes. So that was my one worry with the Kane line, but I guess they're just so cheap that they're going to pop regardless with Patrick Kane up there.
Yep. Yeah. So it's kind of a bet on talent.
Yeah.
Play for that line. It looks like it's Schmaltz there. Just Schmaltz. Okay. Yeah. That's I still like that line. I'll still play them. Their power play has been pretty terrible, but that's how you get to. I think that's how they would score, would be power play time. So you'd want to have some kind of power play stack there with Kane. Maybe Kane, Schmaltz, Seabrook, something like that. That's appealing.
Yeah, love it. All right, you're talking me into them a little bit more. Dougie Hamilton is my favorite defenseman in this game.
Yeah.
Pretty much any game he plays, 6,100. I think he's worth that price, shooting the lights out right now. Well, maybe not scoring goals, but just shooting so much that it's kind of hard to avoid in a game that should be played at a pretty high pace. What else for defensemen here are you seeing?
Looks like they changed their power play lines around again. Yeah, a little bit. They had, what was it? Oh, never mind. Maybe not. Yeah, I thought they had. I thought last game it was supposed to be Aho with Stahl and Williams there, but I guess they didn't do that.
They like changed.
That's what they had
every game.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking from a correlation sort of thing. So I like Stahl, Williams, and Hamilton. You could go to Slavin too if you can't pay up to Hamilton, just given the spot that he's in. I don't hate that. He's only $1,000 discount, so it's not huge, but this should be a very high event game, and he could get some shots and blocks.
And then the Blackhawks side looks like Seabrook is on the top power play.
Yeah, so that's pretty appealing there, despite how trash they've been on the power play.
Yeah. And he does block shots too, so pretty decent floor there for Seabrook.
Yeah.
Yoki is 4,300. No power play time for him, but he's the other guy that I would consider if I'm playing Blackhawks and can't get up to Seabrook.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. Just not going to be a priority, but.
What about Scott?
Because he's only a bit cheaper.
Okay. Yeah. What about Scott Darling? You gonna ride that train tonight?
Against his old team? That's interesting.
Yeah.
You can have a few sprinkles maybe as part of your Carolina stacks. I guess. Otherwise, it doesn't really stand out as a big spot for me.
Yeah, I think I'd rather go with the guy like Allmark for a discount off of Darling if I'm one-offing my goalie.
Yeah. I think so.
All right, San Jose.
Maybe like Kudu. Well, we'll talk about it in this game. Kudobin's kind of interesting to me.
Sweet. San Jose and Dallas, we've got Martin Jones against Anton Khudobin. 2.9 implied total for the Sharks, 2.6 for the Stars. Just mention the line changes in this game. We've got Sagan with Nichushkin and Devon Shore, and then Spezza with Ben and Gurianov.
Denis Gurianov. Yeah.
Gurianov. He is the top prospects for the Stars, getting power play 2-time. It looks like he's min salary. So what do you have on this game, Steve?
Well, I don't have a lot of data on it with those line combinations, but right off the bat, like I would have liked it a bit better if Sagan was still playing with Ben. But now it's just kind of a meh situation. I think I'm leaning towards the Ben Spezza Gurianov line.
They're just so cheap
for
together.
Overall. Yeah, just for offensive upside, I think. Nichushkin hasn't been great. He hasn't really done much offensively, so I don't think that helps Sagan too much on that combo. So it just kind of takes away from Sagan for me. Yeah. The power play is probably their best bet though. Dallas here.
Seems like Sagan and Ben always end up together at some point when you check the data after the game. But when
that's kind of why I like those power play stacks. Yeah, because they will see at least that together.
When they don't start together, it's just so frustrating. Like Dallas becomes almost unplayable.
Like why would you wait for your team to be shit for the whole game before you put them back together?
Yeah, that probably. I mean, it doesn't help the players mentally too. It's like, oh well, I guess we'll just go back to our stacked top line if we start off bad. So whatever. Yeah, so I really, really liked Dallas 1 early this morning when we thought it was going to be Sagan, Ben, and whoever it was going to be, Nichushkin or this new guy. But yeah, I can't really do that anymore. So I've really cooled off on Dallas. That second line just has some decent value. Sharks here. Pavelski, Kane, Donskoy doing it for you?
Yeah, they were pretty disappointing last game. I don't know what the hell that was.
Kane had a couple of chances, like really good chances, and Dubnik stoned him.
That third line really did something. I don't know how or what happened there.
Sorensen.
I think with Stahl being out, that kind of shifted the lines a little bit last minute. Are we expecting Hertl back at all tonight, or is he still out?
I don't have him in for my projections. Let me see. I read something.
I mean, he's not. From what I see here on DFO, he's not in. But
okay.
I know last game he was kind of questionable.
Right. Yeah, he was a game time decision. They announced he was out. Yeah. So I guess if I'm going to a Sharks line, it's going to be just the value with Pavelski, Kane, and Donskoy, despite them disappointing.
Yeah.
And then
seems like the best option, I would think. But
yeah. Logan Couture and Timo Meier are so expensive on the road here. And Dallas isn't a team that I necessarily want to jam lines in against if I can avoid it. So they're not Ottawa. They're not the Islanders. So on the road here, I don't really love spending up for Couture and Timo Meier. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit expensive, but their numbers are, so far this season, the Kane, Pavelski, Donskoy line hasn't had great possession numbers. Their expected goals for a little bit better, but the Couture line looks much better from a shot generation standpoint.
Yeah, and if Hertl is in for whatever reason, do you know what his price is? I don't have it in front of me.
I'll just take a quick look. He is 5,800, which isn't too bad. He's 1,400 more than LeBanc, so...
Even more.
Yeah, Meier up at 7,200 and Couture at 69. That's a bit much to stomach. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the value on Kane, Pavelski, Donskoy is pretty good.
Yeah. Brent Burns and Erik Karlsson, the conundrum, as we always have it. Burns is always a little bit more expensive, 6,800. Osmo's got him as a better value despite being $800 more expensive than Karlsson. Do you have a strong lean there? And then what are you doing for Dallas here?
I mean, no interest in Karlsson until he starts doing something. He hasn't done shit so far this year, so I won't play him until he's too expensive. If he was down at 5K, I'd play him, but he's not earning his 6K price tag.
Agreed. And then Klingberg, if you can fit him, you like Esa Lindell a little bit here?
Yeah, he's got a pretty good floor in general, I think. Yeah, just look at his peripherals there. Shots on goal and blocks are always pretty solid. If he ever chips in with some offense, maybe gets an assist or something like that, then he puts up a pretty good score at only 4K.
And then do you want to talk about your boy Khudobin?
Yeah, I mean, I think for at 7,300, he's pretty good value there. Should see some volume, a bit of volume. Dallas isn't giving up a lot of high quality chances, I don't believe, at 5-on-5. They're not, yeah, they're not bad. They're giving up fewer expected goals per 60 than San Jose is at 5-on-5. So they give up he should see some volume and maybe not quality. So that's pretty appealing right there. I'm more interested in Dallas's offense here. It's just those line combos that I don't love.
So yeah, power play if you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, and like looking at, if you go Spezza, Ben, and Sagan, you're still getting, Ben, Sagan for cheaper than Stamkos and Kucherov if you want to go that route. And it's going to be way lower owned because people don't power play stack as much as they will for even strength. So fit in Klingberg pretty easily with those three. Or Heiskanen is also on that top unit. I didn't see that.
They've been mixing and match. They've been moving him on and off.
Okay.
I think he went back last game. Before that, it was Pitlick. But yeah, last game, I'm pretty sure he played up there. So that's kind of appealing at 44 if you want to lower the price a bit more.
All right. I would agree. Last game of the night, we've got the Wild and the Los Angeles Kings. Late night hammer, the only one that is past 8:30 Eastern. Wild 2.7 implied total, Kings 2.8. Devin Dubnyk going for the Wild. Probably Jack Campbell, but we won't know until a half an hour before the game, likely. Eric Stahl expected to be back for the Wild. I, for whatever reason, ended up with a ton of exposure to this game on my early crunches, so tell me what I'm doing wrong. It's a 5.5 implied total, but just a lot of value, I guess, in this game. So what are you seeing here?
Yeah, the pricing on them.
Yeah. I mean, so it's the Toffoli line for me. The Toffoli, Carter, Kovalchuk. I really like them just as a cheap filler, and then the Koivu, Granlund, Parise line as well.
Yeah. I do like LA here. They've been playing better. They're reasonably priced. Minnesota hasn't been as great on the road. They're taking a lot of penalties. Kings should have a lot of power play opportunities. It's all good things there. And beyond that, I'm kind of waiting to see what the Minnesota lines actually are. That's kind of the tricky part. I don't know if they'll change them or not. I heard there's some rumblings about the lines not being confirmed.
Well, it's like,
I don't know what's going on there.
And Boudreaux,
so that makes it kind of tricky to break down.
Right. Boudreaux is always a guy that likes to switch it up. So actually, let me check. Nolan's article is out. I'm going to post this in the chat, and I'm going to check quick to see if he has anything on Wild lines. I didn't see anything on the beats that I follow, but let's see.
Yeah, that's the tough part with some of these late games is getting the information. It's kind of tough to make your decisions now.
Right.
Especially with teams that are routinely inconsistent, like Minnesota.
Yeah. I mean, Boudreaux's just so likely to switch it around, especially after a loss. I mean, they looked fine against San Jose, but you just never really know. So it's too bad. I mean, I'd like to see him go back to Granlund, Zucker, Stahl, but we won't know, so you can't really do that. So I guess right now I'm leaning towards Parise, Koivu, Granlund. Parise leads the Wild by like 12 chances as far as most high danger chances on the team. Yeah. He's just constantly getting very, very quality chances. So that's probably why my numbers like him. Did you say you like the Carter line or the Kopitar line more?
Both of them have pretty dull 5-on-5 numbers. It's really nothing special there. I think the power play is really the key matchup here for them.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't think Minnesota's that bad on 5-on-5. They don't give up a ton of shot attempts. So I just don't love the 5-on-5 matchup here. They're not. Well, actually, they give up the shot attempts, but their expected goals against are pretty good. So the chances aren't really there.
All right. And then defenseman in this game, I like Dumba quite a bit. He's my preferred option on the Minnesota side. He correlates better with Koivu and Parise on that second unit. They balance the units, so they see pretty even time. And then I guess Doughty is the pretty obvious option on the Kings. But what are you looking at here for defensemen as we close out?
Yeah, Dumba looks like a very strong play. He's got a very good floor and offensive upside here. And then maybe Martinez or someone down the line as an alternative to Doughty, but Doughty stands out as the best play for me on the Kings defense.
Yeah. Eric Stahl is questionable. He
says
he's technically
in, right?
he's technically a game time decision, but they asked him. He said he was in. It was an illness. He caught something from his kid. It sounds like. So just a bug, a day or two. He should be fine. We had another question about. Oh, here we go. In the premium Slack, can you treat the ownership of a goalie similar to that of a QB in NFL slates? Essentially disregarding the ownership there.
Yeah, I never worry about goalie ownership at all.
You want volume in GPPs. You want them to get the win, and it's super, super volatile.
That's the key, really, the volatility.
Yeah. Do you ever increase the randomness on Fantasy Cruncher for your goalie position? That's something that I've been doing a little bit more.
I just cap my goalies.
Okay.
I cap them at like 20%. I don't want.
Me too.
I don't love a goalie at more than that, really.
Right. Yeah. So like Crawford's, shaping up as one of the best goalies on the night for me, but he's super.
Yeah,
expensive.
I might bump him up a little bit more. I might give him like a 25 or something like that. And maybe a couple guys that the projections are liking that I really don't, I might bump down a touch.
Yep.
Either way, I just don't want to be overexposed to any one goalie if I'm playing a lot of lineups because it can really blow up your night.
Yep, I agree. Especially like the reason you have a ton of lineups is to get a lot of different scenarios and get exposure to a bunch of different players. So there's no reason in having 50% of a goalie if you're rolling out 100 lineups or something like that.
Yeah. Also, the range of outcomes for a goalie isn't particularly wide. I think they're pretty like a quarterback in the NFL. They're pretty similar ranges of scores. So.
Yep. All right. We probably don't have too much time for lineup stuff unless someone wants to see something really quick on the lineup builder tool. Oh wait, I keep forgetting we don't have a show after this, so we can do a few things.
Sure.
I guess we can just start with the chalk, Boston 1, and see which lines fit with them. I don't know if you have crunches.
Yeah. I'll just fire that up real quick. See what I got.
Can you do that with Florida 2? You kind of can. No, you can't. You could do it with Cousins, Stepan, Fisher. Build a dummy lineup with goalie from each team. I don't know if you have to do that.
You know who fits with it's kind of tough, but San Jose 1 fits with them. With Boston. Really? Yeah. Chicago 2, like a lot of lines fit if you punt defense. You don't even have to completely punt defense and goaltending. Yeah, Chicago, Arizona.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, there's quite a few lines that fit.
You can get in Joakim Ryan, 4-man San Jose with full Boston 1, Martin Jones, and then you've got a $300.
You can even do Dallas 1 pretty easily. Yeah, there's plenty of reasonable options
for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Both Chicago's. You could do Carolina 2, even Vancouver for a game stack.
Yeah.
Montreal 2 and 3, who I like. Florida 2. Yeah, you can fit a lot of stuff.
Oh.
If you're fine to punt on defense.
Yeah.
LA 2. Yeah, lots of. You can even do your Minnesota line there.
Koivu, Granlund, Parisi.
Yep.
Those guys fit.
Yep. If you go around 3K for a defenseman and lower 7s, goalie.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, any favorites you like there?
I'm gonna load up Fantasy Cruncher. We'll just run one quick crunch. We're gonna do
build a dummy line with a goalie from each team.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
One lineup with a goalie from I don't understand what that means.
Neither do I.
Oh, okay. So maybe just build a lineup with the most expensive goalie. Then you can always just swap down. Yeah, he just wants to see what fits with any goalie. So I'll just lock. Yeah, you can just lock. Well, is there any particular line you wanted to do with that, or just any lineup? You could just lock Vasilevsky and then run it all.
All right, let's see what the old fantasy cruncher likes. Actually, we're gonna get a good spread here. Oh, I'm not asking.
Oh, gotcha. So. Yeah.
Just giving words of advice to the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So Tampa 1 and the Kane line fits pretty nicely. The Kane line's gonna fit with like everything, with Schmaltz and Anisimov being 3,400 each.
Yeah, that's pretty nice, right?
Yeah.
It's not the best 5-on-5 matchup, but still,
Florida
given the quality of goaltending that Carolina's received, you're betting on the Chicago talent over volume.
Florida 2 with Vegas 1 and Seabrook Gustafson. So I'd probably switch out one of those two, Chicago defensemen. But that's pretty nice with correlated goalie as well. That's not too bad. Boston 1 with Carolina 2. A couple of those in here. McDavid and the Tays lines fit. That's pretty nice as well. Is anything sticking? I guess you're on delay here, but does anything stick out to you that you see?
It's just being great lineups.
Yeah.
Well,
like unexpected things that fit. Oh, Couture.
I was a little surprised with Vegas and Tampa fitting.
Vegas 1?
Yeah.
They fit with Tampa 1?
Yeah, I think he scrolled down a touch.
Okay.
Well, it's still running. Yeah, no, it's going to be tough.
Here we go. I see it. You'll see it in a few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think it's punt defense, probably.
Yeah, so you've got the old Dan Girardi completing the 4-man, and then Dion Phaneuf, who actually isn't that terrible of a play. He's 3K.
And I do like Luongo as a goalie tonight if you're going to pay down.
Mm-hmm.
I like him mainly for GPPs. I don't know if you ever want to play a cash goalie against McDavid, but
yeah, just ruins your night in like 2 shifts.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks pretty good. Pricing outside of a couple lines, it's pretty easy to fit basically everything you want. You shouldn't have too much difficulty building lineups if you're running out 3-man forward stacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kane line and Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak together. Yeah, this should be a fun one. I guess we can close out. What contests look good to you tonight?
Let me see. Yeah, I haven't really looked too closely. That they have the 400 on DraftKings. I don't know if I'll play that or not. I might. Beyond that, yeah, it's pretty much the $8 if you want to MME or pay up to those other ones.
Yeah, I'm sticking to the $8. I think I'm probably just running out 4-3-1s tonight. It's a big enough slate where I don't need to be that different.
Yeah.
But
I agree. They really crushed the size of this mini max too.
It always fills way early.
2,500 total prizes and 50 cent. Yeah.
We either talk about it off stream or on stream, but just they're not giving you many options at different price points.
No.
It's like 33 or 400 or the $8 for like actual big contests.
Yeah, they reached out to me the other day asking what I thought about some stuff, and I told them specifically that their offerings at different price points aren't great.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like for us. I mean, we're gonna play regardless, but yeah, they ruined the mini max.
Pretty much. They know we're gonna play anyway.
Well, yeah, like me and you though, but like the casual player, they should have been offering a ton of stuff the first 2 weeks when there was no NBA.
Yeah.
And see what filled. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're gonna play a little bit more casually, I like a lot of the 3 max kind of stuff though.
Yeah, I suppose.
3 and 2 max, those aren't bad. They're not great, but
so
like
small.
the fit. Yeah.
Like the $20 3 max is nice if it was twice the
Well,
size.
you figure it's a lighter NBA slate. You want to hammer the NHL contests.
You'd think so. But people still love their short NBA slate. People just love NBA. So.
Yeah.
We're just never going to
have. Well, there's more money involved.
Yeah. So. Well, that's probably about it. They had one day with $40 max or 12.5 max. Nothing else. Yeah. NBA's trash.
What's the best third line on the slate? I like Montreal 3. Beyond that, I don't really know.
I probably won't even include third lines tonight. But if I had to... don't want to play Dale Weiss. Oh, here we go. I guess the Eriksson, Zucker, Niederreiter line isn't terrible.
Yeah.
It's super cheap, and they've actually got some decent players on it. Not Dale Weiss.
I also don't hate the Svechnikov line on Carolina.
Is that they're probably considered the fourth line on some sites, but
3, yeah.
They're getting
what I'm saying,
minutes, right?
Getting volume too, so.
Okay. All right, Steve. I don't know if I lost you there for a second.
Nope, yeah. Still here.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, we just cut out there for a second. All right, that's probably a sign we should be done. Tune in to the NBA show, 4-game slate. I think it starts in about 50 minutes, so it's going to be Laffy and Adam. As always, we've got the Live Before Lock show with, I believe it's Chris Spags and Fast Eddie Fear. That Three Fellas Talking Football also is tonight. So if you're playing Showdown NFL, definitely want to tune into that. A lot of sharp takes from Andrew, Ben, and Laffy on that. So I'll for sure be watching that. Are you playing any NFL Showdown tonight, Steve?
Depends if I get my hockey lineups done and everything else in time.
Yeah, I might. I might dabble in some of that tonight. So
I always want to. It's just a lack of time. But yeah, I want to see that show. That'd help.
Promo code Hit the Ice, guys. Use it. Free week of Osmo Premium, Slack Chat, Osmo's Rankings, My Projections, Fantasy Cruncher, Lineup Builder, all the good stuff. We've got quite a few of you in chat. If you guys could give us a like, that would be great. Steve, got any last words of advice for the people?
Nothing really. It's a pretty basic slate. Wouldn't worry about ownership. Just hopefully everything goes well for you guys. Good luck.
Good luck, guys.